All right, Kelly's Heroes, the original Fury.
The only way I got to keep them tigers busy is to let them shoot holes in me.
A lot of the tank guys know this is a T-34 platform. You can tell this, the dead giveaway first off is the track. You see this monstrous turret and then this track that just, it's so small. Boom. I love that.
And I'm not good with excitement. I do the depressing stuff, so it's better.
I must break you.
Being able to see after working here the realism that went into the actual tank, you know, getting in, closing the hatches, all the different switches.
All right, Kelly's Heroes, the original Fury. This is my favorite tank film. Again, I saw this and this is where I learned about tanks very young.
What else do you need?
You could probably use some armor.
What are you doing up there?
Really cool film, accurate, kind of, but yeah, excellent film. One of my favorite scenes here is not much action, but you see the Shermans in their rear area and all the games and tricks that they get up to. These Shermans are actually Yugoslavian Shermans. So after World War II, there was a military defense assistance program where the US sent Shermans that were basically training role Shermans during the war. And maybe some came out of France. They were all sent to Yugoslavia for a rebuild. And a lot of you are familiar with the late war 76mm Sherman upgrade. It's a whole different turret, different mantlet. But the Yugoslavian Shermans, they actually crammed a US 76mm gun, late war, into the early war turret with the early war mantlet. And Yugoslavia is basically the only country that I know of you'll see that done. And then you can see this scene here where they're cleaning out the barrel. You know, there's a few other modifications like the front fenders. That's a Yugoslavian modification post-war. Just creating the illusion here of, you know, they need rest in the rear area, basically to get out of going to the front. It's kind of funny. Also typical of a unit without a commander, as he mentions earlier in the film, their CO was killed and they never reported him dead, so here they are just living out the war.
Oh, man, you guys are crazy. Look, when we was in a Bocage country, we was assaulted by them tigers. You know what I mean by assaulted, huh? Well, I mean assaulted.
Why don't you knock it off with them negative waves?
So Oddball shows Kelly all the modifications that they've done on their Sherman, and I really like this because you can see the 76mm rounds in the background there. He mentions that there's that piece of pipe they put on to the end of the barrel. Yeah, I really like how they added the barrel, the piece of pipe onto the end of the barrel. It's some creative license used for the film because you know that setup of Sherman is not accurate for World War II, and by putting that piece of pipe under there, they kind of cover up the fact that at that time during the invasion, most likely these were 75mm Shermans, the M4A3, and they hide that fact with that piece of pipe, and then in the film they have the explanation, which is to fool the Germans that it's a bigger gun. So that's a really cool point to note. And then he mentions a couple of those other psychological warfare tricks of using paint in the rounds. Whether that actually happened or not, doubtful, but I wouldn't rule it out though.
If I hear any more threats against Captain Maitland's life, if I hear any more wild talk about going down to headquarters and killing the general, or raping the nurses at the field hospital, I'm gonna strangle a guy with my bare hands. You understand that? Now all good things come to those who wait. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Are we, cowboy?
You can bet your boots on that, partner.
Sergeant, partner.
Right, Sarge.
All right.
All right, once again, Sherman vs. Tiger, the original Fury. Kelly's Heroes was the first Hollywood appearance of an actual mock-up Tiger tank. Prior to Kelly's Heroes, all the Tigers were just US tanks that had swastikas and German crosses painted on them, but Kelly's Heroes actually built something up to resemble a Tiger, and as you all know, or a lot of the tank guys know, this is a T-34 platform. You can tell this. The dead giveaway, first off, is the track. You see this monstrous turret and then this track that just, it's so small. They did well to cover up the T-34 style road wheels, but again, you can still tell from the track. The other thing is how far forward on the body of the tank the turret is. A Tiger, the turret is set much further back, but for Hollywood, and given the fact that there's only one driving working Tiger, probably when this was filmed, the Tiger tank at Bovington that was probably under restoration or in storage, I would imagine, they just had no access to Tigers, and to build one for a film of this quality, they did very well. And I still wonder to this day where these Hollywood Tigers ended up. They have a whole troop, 4 Tiger tanks for the film, and privately in the tank world, we can track who sells what, where, and for how much. I don't know where these Tiger tanks ended up, so I'd be curious to find out where they are. Now you can see Oddball Sherman once again. It's a M4A3 made by Fisher Body Company. The same Sherman as our Iwo Jima Sherman. And it's cool they added in this scene here running over a car. Excellent shot there, the track and the suspension in action. Now you can see that the 50 on top of the Sherman there, that's actually an M3 aircraft 50. So maybe at that time in Yugoslavia, the Hollywood Armourer, they didn't have access to regular 50. And that paint round you just saw fired at the Tiger tank. I like how they discuss that in the start of the film, and then they actually show that working. Most likely that round looks like there are chalk rounds that tanks use, like a colored chalk. When they explode, they throw it everywhere like a training aid. It's probably what that really was. And then again here, like tanks in urban areas, you can see perfect example that it's too much close quarters for a tank to operate to its capacity. And you need that infantry support to back up the tank, which obviously the Germans don't have in this scene. It's Kelly just finishing him off with a 50. Yeah, boom. Once again, the weak point of a tank, right in the rear end, where the armor's weakest. And the reason that is that as a tank crew, you're always aiming to have your forward armor in the direction that you're fighting in. So that's why the armor in the rear is the weak point. So if they concentrated on putting heavily armored all around the tank, the weight of it would just be, it's not feasible to have heavy armor right around the whole entire tank. So yeah, good point on exploiting the Tiger's rear end. Kelly's Heroes, cool factor, 9 out of 10. Realistic, 7 out of 10. But yeah, the best tank film, I think.